Set in Nazi-occupied Germany, Hogan's Heroes was a sitcom that managed to find humor even in the darkest times. While the real-life situation was serious, the show provided a funny and light-hearted escape, following a group of POWs as they cleverly outwitted their captors. With its clever escape plans and laugh-out-loud moments, Hogan's Heroes became a fan favorite. But what happened to the cast after the show wrapped up? Let's take a trip back to Stalag 13 and see where they ended up. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's go. Number 1. Bob Crane, as Colonel Hogan, is a master of deception. A cunning strategist who always seems to be one step ahead. In the treacherous world of Luftstalag, he's like a fox, outwitting the clueless Germans at every turn. Hogan's secret weapon is reverse psychology. He's a master manipulator, particularly when it comes to the easily duped Commandant Klink. By playing on Klink's insecurities and ego, Hogan can often convince him to do exactly what Hogan wants, without Klink even realizing it. After graduating from Stamford High School in 1946, Bob pursued his musical interests, briefly playing as a drummer with the Connecticut Symphony Orchestra. However, his playful nature led to his dismissal for not being serious enough. In 1949, Bob married his high school sweetheart, Ann Terzian, and the couple had 3 children, Robert David, Debbie, and Karen. In 1956, Bob and his family moved to California, where he launched a successful radio career. Working at KNX Radio in Los Angeles, Bob quickly became known as the King of the Airwaves. His show, known for its humor and charm, attracted a huge audience and featured interviews with Hollywood stars like Frank Sinatra, Marilyn Monroe, and Bob Hope. Undeterred, Bob scored his big break in 1965 when he was cast as the lead in CBS's new sitcom, Hogan's Heroes. Playing the smooth-talking Colonel Robert Hogan, Bob became a household name as the show became a hit, even earning him 2 Emmy nominations in 1966 and 1967. During this time, Bob met Patty Olsen, known as Sigrid Valdis, who played Hilda on the show. After divorcing Anne, he married Patty in 1970, and they had a son, Scott, in 1971. However, in 1971, Hogan's Heroes was abruptly canceled, marking the end of Bob's peak success. He continued to act but found roles scarce and less fulfilling. He appeared in Disney films like Superdad and Gus, and made guest appearances on shows such as Policewoman, Ellery Queen, and The Love Boat. In 1975, he briefly had his own show, The Bob Crane Show, but it was canceled after just 3 months. In 1973, Bob purchased the rights to the play Beginner's Luck, which he directed and starred in, touring across the country. In June 1978, the play brought him to Scottsdale, Arizona, where tragedy struck. In the early hours of June 29, 1978, Bob was brutally murdered in his rented apartment. He was 49 years old. His murder remains unsolved to this day. Colonel Hogan played by Bob Crane when he was 37 years old. Sadly, Crane was found bludgeoned to death in his Scottsdale, Arizona apartment while on tour in June 1978 for a dinner theater production of Beginner's Luck. Number 2. Werner Klemperer as Colonel Klink is a total disaster. He thinks he's a big shot, but he's really just a bumbling buffoon. He's gullible, scared, and way too confident for his own good. It's amazing he can even get dressed in the morning. He's always making mistakes and getting himself into trouble. You'd think he'd learn his lesson, but he never does. He's just too stubborn. It's funny to watch him try to act tough and important. He's really just a pathetic excuse for a commander. He's the kind of guy who would get lost in his own backyard. It's a wonder he's still in charge. Werner Klemperer, an actor who escaped Nazi Germany at the age of 13 due to his father's Jewish heritage, found himself in a unique and somewhat ironic position throughout his acting career. After relocating to the United States, Klemperer, like many other émigrés who fled fascism, often portrayed the very figures he had escaped from. He is best remembered for his role as the monocle-wearing, vain, and often foolish Colonel Klink in the CBS sitcom Hogan's Heroes, 1965 to 1971. This role earned him 2 Emmy Awards for Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy. However, Klemperer's career wasn't limited to comedic roles. He also portrayed more serious and chilling characters, particularly Nazis, in several films. Notable among these roles were his portrayal of Adolf Eichmann, the administrator of the Final Solution in Operation Eichmann, a Nazi war criminal in judgment at Nuremberg, and Colonel Klink in the Hogan Heroes. These performances showcased his versatility as an actor and added depth to his already impressive resume. Colonel Klink played by Werner Klemperer when he was 45 years old. Sadly, Klemperer died of cancer at his home in Manhattan on December 6, 2000, at the age of 80. Number 3. John Banner as Sergeant Schultz is the kind of guy who'd forget his own name if you asked him twice. He's a bumbling guard who's so clueless, he'd probably shoot himself in the foot if he knew how to load his gun. But that's what makes him so funny. Despite his incompetence, he somehow ends up helping the prisoners more than he hurts them. It's like he's accidentally good at being bad. Owen Banner, who achieved television immortality for his portrayal of the Luftwaffe POW camp guard Sergeant Schultz in the TV series Hogan's Heroes, 1965, was born on Tuesday, January 28, 1910 in Vienna, which in 1938 was then the capital of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Banner, who was a slim 180 pounds when he first arrived in the U.S., eventually gained about 100 pounds, becoming the lovable, chubby character actor America would later recognize in countless TV shows and movies. He often played foreign officials, like the Soviet ambassador in the comedy Kisses for My President, 1964. In 1965, Banner was cast as Sergeant Schultz in Hogan's Heroes, a wartime sitcom that premiered on CBS on September 17, 1965. The show was a humorous take on the earlier film Stalag 17, 1953, and Banner's portrayal of the bumbling, good-hearted guard who knows nothing became iconic. Despite the comedic nature of the role, Banner always insisted that Schultz represented the inherent goodness in every generation, refusing to label the character as a cuddly Nazi. Banner co-starred with Werner Klemperer, Colonel Klink, and Bob Crane, Colonel Hogan, in the film The Wicked Dreams of Paula Schultz, although the movie wasn't well received. After Hogan's Heroes ended in 1971, Banner appeared in another period TV show, The Chicago Teddy Bears, set during Prohibition. Unfortunately, the series was short-lived, ending after just 13 episodes. Sergeant Schultz played by John Banner when he was 55 years old. Sadly, Banner died on January 28, 1973, right on his 63rd birthday following an abdominal hemorrhage. Number 4. Robert Clary as LeBeau Vive la France. Vive la cuisine. That's the motto of Louis LeBeau, our culinary maestro and part-time fashionista. Watch as he transforms simple ingredients into gastronomic masterpieces that will make your taste buds do a jig. Behind his mischievous grin, this daring soldier hides a sharp tongue. He doesn't shy away from mocking the Nazis and Germans for their atrocities, proving that he's not just a master chef but also a master of wit. And here's a little secret. Despite his fear of tight spaces, this brave chef can squeeze into the tiniest of hiding places like a seasoned escape artist. Robert Clary was born in France and endured unimaginable hardships during World War II when he was interned in a Nazi concentration camp as a child. After the war, Clary's love for music led him to become a singing star in France. In 1949, he moved to the United States to further his career. One of his early appearances was on The Ed Wynn Show, 1949, where he performed a comedy skit in French as he was still learning English. Clary's talent for comedy didn't go unnoticed, and he soon made a name for himself on Broadway, appearing in several revues, including Leonard Sillman's New Faces, which was so popular it was adapted into a film in 1960. During the 1950s, he became a familiar face on game shows, and in 1965, he landed the role of Corporal, Louis LeBeau on the hit TV series Hogan's Heroes. This role made him widely recognized, and he continued to take on roles in film and television, often drawing on his experiences during World War II, as seen in the movie Remembrance of Love, 1982, which focused on Holocaust survivors. In his later years, Clary returned to television, joining the casts of popular shows like Days of Our Lives and The Young and the Restless, continuing to entertain audiences with his remarkable talent. LeBeau played by Robert Clary when he was 39 years old. Clary died of natural cause at his Los Angeles home on November 16, 2022, at age 96. Number 5. Richard Dawson as Newkirk Needle in Hand. Newkirk is a force to be reckoned with. A master tailor and cunning disguise artist, he can whip up the most stylish outfits and deceptive personas faster than you can say, fashion emergency. With the skills of a pickpocket, forger, and safe-cracker, Newkirk is a walking Swiss Army knife of espionage. He can impersonate anyone from a vaudeville star to a high-ranking German officer, all with a wink and a smile. It's hard to say whether he's a tailor or a secret agent. His talents are so diverse, it's like he's got a hidden compartment filled with surprises. With each mention of Survey Says, Richard Dawson gained worldwide fame as the wisecracking, very charming host of the long-running television game show Family Feud, which pitted two families against each other in a quest to name the most popular survey answers posed to 100 people. While the very nature of the show created many memorable moments as the contestants frenetically tried to outguess each other, it was Dawson's quick wit, warm personality, and jokes laced with double entendres that made Family Feud one of the most popular game shows in history. The British actor and comedian was also called the Kissing Bandit, Dickie, and Kissy Face, because he made a habit of kissing every single female contestant, much to their near-universal delight. Prior to his eternal Family Feud fame, Dawson was already a household name for his recurring role as the jack-of-all-trades Corporal Peter Newkirk on the classic comedy series Hogan's Heroes. He was also an audience favorite as one of the panelists on yet another game show of that era, Match Game 73, CBS 1973-79. With such impressive stints as host coupled with a long-standing career in comedy, Dawson remained a beloved television personality long after he had disappeared from the public eye. Newkirk played by Richard Dawson when he was 33 years old. Sadly, Dawson died at 79 from complications of cancer in Los Angeles on June 2, 2012, at the Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center. Number 6. Larry Hovis, as Carter's enthusiasm for science is infectious, but his clumsiness and forgetfulness are legendary. You never know what kind of concoction he'll whip up in the lab, and sometimes it's a real blast. The prisoners tease him for being the most German-looking among them. He can easily slip into the role of a German officer, even the infamous Adolf Hitler. Newkirk and LeBeau love to poke fun at his naivety around women. But when you're a genius with a knack for explosives, who needs smooth talking skills? Larry Hovis was born on February 20, 1936, in Wapato, Washington, but grew up in Houston, Texas. He got his start in the entertainment world as a vocalist, performing with his sister Joan in a duo and later joining a quartet called the Mascots. They even appeared on Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts. While studying philosophy at the University of Houston, Larry was signed to Capitol Records, where he recorded an album titled My Heart Belongs to Only You. Larry's career took a major turn when he was cast in a minor role on the pilot episode of Hogan's Heroes, 1965. When two other actors left the series, Larry was promoted to a permanent role, playing the demolition expert Sergeant Carter. Even while starring on Hogan's Heroes, he continued to write for TV, contributing to shows like Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, and even writing the screenplay for the film Out of Sight, 1966. After Hogan's Heroes was unexpectedly canceled in 1971, Larry appeared on various TV shows, including The Doris Day Show, Adam 12, Chico and the Man, and Alice. He also ventured behind the scenes, producing several game shows, including Liars Club, where he was a regular panelist from 1976 to 1978. Larry continued acting into the early 1990s, with one of his last roles being in the film Shadow Force, 1992. Carter played by Larry Hovis when he was 29 years old. Sadly, Hovis died of esophageal cancer in Austin, Texas, on September 9, 2003. He was 67 years old. Number 7. Ivan Dixon as Kinchloe. A Detroit native, Kinchloe's experience with the telephone company has made him a master of covert communications. He can mimic German officers over the radio or phone with uncanny accuracy. Before the war, Kinchloe was a formidable boxer. His fighting spirit and quick reflexes have served him well in his underground activities. African-American actor and director Ivan Dixon became best known for portraying Kinchloe on the sitcom Hogan's Heroes. Born to parents who were shop owners, he spent much of his youth in North Carolina and studied drama at North Carolina Central University in Durham. Dixon made his Broadway debut in 1957 in William Saroyan's Cave Dwellers, and then played the part of Joseph Assagai in Lorraine Hansberry's A Raisin in the Sun. Dixon recreated the role in the 1961 film as well as appearing in the 1959 musical Porgy and Bess. In 1964, Dixon appeared in the critically lauded independent film Nothing But a Man with singer-actress Abby Lincoln. Dixon had a role in 1965's drama A Patch of Blue and compiled a long list of TV appearances, including multiple episodes of the sci-fi anthology series Twilight Zone and The Outer Limits. In 1967, he was nominated for an Emmy for playing the title role in The Final War of Ollie Winter on CBS Playhouse. In 1965, he took his most famous role as POW Kinchloe in the sitcom Hogan's Heroes and remained for 5 seasons. He left before the end of its run, finding the part undemanding. In 1970, he began his career as a director, directing steadily for TV through the early 90s, including episodes of action series Magnum P.I., and the films Trouble Man and the controversial espionage drama The Spook Who Sat by the Door. Kinchloe played by Ivan Dixon when he was 34 years old. Sadly, Ivan Dixon died on March 16, 2008, aged 76, at Presbyterian Hospital in Charlotte, North Carolina, of complications from kidney failure. Number 8. Leon Askin as General Burkhalter, Klink's cunning secretary, has replaced Helga as a key player in Hogan's game of espionage. He discreetly feeds information to the prisoners, confirms their elaborate stories, and even accepts invitations from high-ranking Germans to keep them distracted and extract valuable intel. Burkhalter is a master of deception, a virtuoso of manipulation, and a mastermind of subterfuge. It's like watching a high-stakes poker game, with Burkhalter holding all the aces. Leon Askin was a talented Austrian character actor who made a name for himself in a variety of American productions. He started his career as a successful stage actor in Austria, but his life took a dramatic turn when he fled to the United States in 1940 to escape Nazi persecution. After serving in the American military during World War II, Askin found numerous acting opportunities in Hollywood, where he was cast in roles that allowed him to portray characters from diverse backgrounds. In the 1950s, Askin appeared in several notable films, including Road to Bali and The Robe. He later transitioned to television, where he voiced Fearless Leader in the animated series Rocky and His Friends. In 1965, Askin took on one of his most famous roles as General Burkhalter in the popular sitcom Hogan's Heroes. While he had a prominent role in Billy Wilder's comedy 1, 2, 3, Askin primarily took on smaller roles in various films and TV shows throughout his career. By the time he passed away in 2007, Askin had amassed an impressive resume with over 125 screen credits, leaving a lasting legacy in the entertainment industry. General Burkhalter played by Leon Askin when he was 58 years old. Askin died from natural causes in Vienna on June 3, 2005, at the age of 97, and is interred at Vienna Central Cemetery. Number 9. Sigrid Valdis as Hilda. As Colonel Klink's secretary, Hilda may seem like a harmless cog in the German war machine. But don't be fooled. Beneath her demure exterior lies a sharp mind and a cunning spirit. In the world of espionage, Hilda is a master of quick thinking and adaptability. She must navigate the dangers of her undercover activities while keeping her true loyalties a secret. Her wit and charm are her secret weapons. Hilda uses them to outsmart the Germans and support the prisoners' fight for freedom. Despite her growing family, Sigrid's passion for acting led her to study at Stella Adler's theater school while working on her first feature film. Her natural talent quickly shone through, and by 1964, she was back in California pursuing a full-time acting career. Her film success opened doors in television, where she worked with TV legends like Phil Silvers, Steve Allen, and Red Skelton. She also appeared in popular shows such as Kraft Mystery Theater, Arrest and Trial, and The Wild Wild West, sharing the screen with stars like Dennis Hopper and Robert Conrad. Sigrid also made a mark on stage, notably starring in the 1968 touring production of Cactus Flower with Bob Crane. In 1965, Sigrid caught the attention of Hogan's Heroes producer Edward H. Feldman, leading to her guest appearance as Gretchen in episode 10. Her performance impressed Feldman, who brought her on as a regular cast member in the second season, playing Hilda, Colonel Klink's secretary. Her role on the show led to a real-life romance with co-star Bob Crane, and the two were married on the set of Hogan's Heroes on October 16, 1970, in what was the first reported actual marriage performed on a sound stage. A year later, they welcomed their son, Robert Scott Crane. After the birth of her son, Sigrid decided to retire from acting to focus on her family, dedicating herself to her role as a wife and mother. Her journey from a young model to a beloved TV actress remains a testament to her versatility and talent in the entertainment industry. Hilda played by Sigrid Valdis when she was 30 years old. Sadly, twice widowed, Valdis died on October 14, 2007, from lung cancer in Anaheim, California, aged 72. Number 10. Howard Caine as Hochstetter. In the world of interrogation, this guy takes the cake. Hochstetter's like a bulldog with a magnifying glass, sniffing out every detail and squeezing the truth out of those poor prisoners. Behind that tough exterior, you'll find a man driven by duty and unwavering loyalty. He's like a soldier marching to the beat of the Nazi drum, determined to fight for his cause. Howard Caine, originally named Howard Cohen, made a big move at the age of 13 from his hometown of Nashville, Tennessee, to the bustling streets of New York City. It was there that he began his journey into acting, working hard to shed his Southern accent and eventually becoming a master of 32 different dialects, both foreign and American. After serving in the Navy during World War II, Howard pursued his passion for drama at Columbia University, where he graduated summa cum laude from the School of Drama. On television, Howard Caine made over 750 appearances, but he's best remembered for his role as Gestapo Major, Hochstetter on the classic sitcom Hogan's Heroes, 1965. He played the role for the show's entire 6-year run, becoming a memorable figure in TV history. In 1976, he portrayed Everett Scoville, a character based on Charles Manson's attorney Irving Kinchloe, in the CBS two-part TV movie Helter Skelter. Beyond acting, Howard had a deep love for the Appalachian five-string banjo, which he began mastering in the mid-1960s. From the summer of 1970 until his passing in 1993, he won numerous trophies at banjo and fiddle contests across the South for both best traditional banjo and traditional singing. He was also a beloved folk singer, performing at various folk clubs and festivals, showcasing his passion for traditional music. Hochstetter played by Howard Caine when he was 40 years old. Sadly, Caine died of a heart attack on December 28, 1993, 5 days short of his 68th birthday. Number 11. John Cedar as Langenscheidt. Langenscheidt, a loyal and diligent guard, is often seen following orders without question. He's always eager to assist Sergeant Schultz and Colonel Klink, reflecting his unwavering commitment to duty. While his obedience can sometimes lead to comical situations, especially when he's caught up in the prisoner's schemes, his loyalty remains steadfast. Langenscheidt's bumbling nature and the absurd circumstances he finds himself in contribute significantly to the show's comedic elements. John Cedar, known for his friendly face and engaging performances, is perhaps best remembered for his recurring role as the bumbling CPL Karl Langenscheidt on the 1960s sitcom Hogan's Heroes. The show, set in a German World War II POW camp, showcased Cedar's knack for comedy amidst the series' sneaky and humorous scenarios. Cedar had a diverse career spanning 35 years, with roles in both lighthearted and serious fare. His film credits include The Comedic Feds, 1988, where he played a role in this FBI trainee feature, and the more intense courtroom drama, Matlock. B-movie fans might recognize him from The Manitou, a supernatural film about an Indian medicine man wreaking havoc after emerging from Susan Strasberg's neck tumor. Cedar not only appeared in the film, which starred Tony Curtis and Burgess Meredith, but also co-wrote the script and served as an associate producer. He also featured in The Day of the Animals, a thriller about nature gone wild. Though he's had fewer on-screen roles since the late 90s, Cedar has shifted to working as an acting coach, continuing to share his expertise with aspiring actors. Langenscheidt played by John Cedar when he was 34 years old. Sadly, John Cedar died of leukemia at Providence Tarzana Medical Center in Los Angeles on April 14, 2011, at the age of 80. Number 12. Bernard Fox as Colonel Crittenden. One of Crittenden's most prominent characteristics is his ineptitude. Despite his military rank, he frequently makes blunders that hinder the missions of Hogan and his team. His well-intentioned but poorly executed plans often lead to humorous situations and unintended consequences. This ineptitude serves as a comedic foil to Hogan's cunning and resourcefulness. Crittenden is deeply patriotic and committed to the Allied cause. His dedication to duty and his country is unquestionable, even if his methods are flawed. This patriotism drives him to take bold actions, albeit with mixed results. His unwavering belief in the Allied cause provides a stark contrast to the enemy he faces. The endearing Welsh actor Fox, with his bushy whiskers and charming demeanor, is best known for playing a range of stereotypical British gents, from stiff upper lip types to bumbling characters. Born into an acting family, Fox was on stage from a young age and spent part of World War II serving on a minesweeper in the Royal Navy. Fox became a familiar face on American television during the 1960s. He gained popularity as the cranky warlock physician Dr. Bombay on Bewitched, and as the bumbling Colonel Rodney Crittenden on Hogan's Heroes. He also played Dr. Watson to Stuart Granger's Sherlock Holmes in The Hound of the Baskervilles, offering a unique take on the character. In addition to these roles, Fox appeared in various guest spots, including 12 O'Clock High, The Man from UNCLE, Columbo, and MASH. Later in his career, he took on roles like Archibald Gracie IV in Titanic and the aviator Winston Havelock in The Mummy. Fox's love for the theater continued with engagements in Canada, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and a Broadway stint in the 1978 production of 3 Rue de l'Amour. In his personal life, he was known as a theater historian, avid gardener, landscape painter, and magic enthusiast. Colonel Crittenden played by Bernard Fox when he was 38 years old. Sadly, on the morning of December 14, 2016, Fox died of heart failure at Valley Presbyterian Hospital in Van Nuys, California. He was 89 years old. Number 13, John Stevenson, as Captain Mueller's position as a captain in the German army, grants him a significant degree of authority. He commands respect from his subordinates and makes decisions with confidence and assertiveness. This is exemplified when he orders his convoy to seek refuge at Stalag 13 during an air raid. Cautious. Despite his authoritative demeanor, Mueller is also cautious and aware of the potential dangers surrounding his mission. His decision to avoid staying in an exposed location during the air raid and instead seek the relative safety of the POW camp demonstrates his careful consideration of risks. This cautious nature suggests a degree of prudence and self-preservation. A 1941 graduate of Mary D. Bradford High School in Kenosha, this individual was active in student council and forensics under the guidance of dramatic coach John Davies. His talent in oratory was evident early on, as he secured second place in the National Forensics League National Contest, held in Lexington, Kentucky, excelling in both dramatic declaration and oratorical declamation. Notably, his Kenosha team triumphed over more than 800 contestants to win the meet that year. By 1948, he had ventured into radio, and with the advent of television, he quickly adapted to the new medium. In 1951, he became the commercial announcer for the iconic television show I Love Lucy, contributing to the early days of a program that would become a television classic. Beyond his professional achievements, he enjoyed a long and enduring marriage, celebrating 60 years with his spouse. Captain Mueller played by John Stevenson when he was 41 years old. Sadly, Stevenson died of Alzheimer's disease, aged 91 on May 15, 2015. We just took a hilarious trip back to Stalag 13 with the Hogan's Heroes crew. Who was your favorite character, Hogan, Klink, or someone else? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more classic sitcom throwbacks. See you next time.